day everyone, I'm Laura Lynn from the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're going to make a car carrier garbage bag. One that hangs out in the car for you to easily take whatever's the rubbish is in there and bring it into the house or recycle it. So this is just going to be a fabric one. We're going to line it. You could put some cardboard in between the layers to help stiffen it up if you like. Maybe even a little bit of elastic around the top. You know, the flexibility is really up to you. So I'm going to use some patchwork fabric, some fabric to make some patchwork bags anyways. So I have 2.5 inch squares right here right now. I got a huge pile of them. They were gifted to me, so I'm going to use them to make something nice for our car. A nice pink garbage bag. And I just laid them out. So my idea was to have 12 long and then 6 strips. So if you just put them together, okay, I just kind of put them 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. And if you just kind of line these ones, these 6 here, 6 rows, kind of flip them, flop them, so they're a little bit, you know, nothing's really next to each other. I have to flip that too. Okay, whatever. We'll get there. So I've got the 6 for building out the front and the back. So it's going to be like folded in half sort of idea. And then I've got 2 10s. 2 by 10, 2 by 5 to give you 10 pieces here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And those are going to build up the sides, okay? I'm just pinning the rows together. I am pinning at the seams. You could go underneath the machine if you like and just kind of wing it, snuggle them up against each other. But I really would like the preciseness of the seams really lining up when you've got something like this kind of, you know, just hanging out in the car. You know, it is a representation of your craft, right? Your art. So, just going to line them up. And then so all 6 rows together, and then that should give us a nice little chunk of fabric to be able to play with and make a nice bag. So you don't have to have the patch, like the little bits of squares. You could just do a size of fabric of whatever you're looking for, okay? So, all right, let's sew all these together.
Cutting little pieces, colors on the floor. Squares become a vision I've been waiting for. Every patch is different, but they all belong. Fabric tells a story like a favorite song. Seams pressed down, shining bright. Iron to the dark side.
We've got those ones put together. Now we're just going to attach them so they're one big piece and measure approximately, I think it's 22 inches by about 12 inches. Okay, I think I might flip this one here, see what happens. And I think we're okay. So there we go. We're good. Now we'll just attach these in, guys, and give ourselves a nice big chunk of fabric, okay? Once we have our pieces all sewn together, our front and back, and then our 2 sides, and they're going to be joined up on the side part here, and then be able to be put together, okay? So here's your option. If you wanted to, you can stabilize this part as well as your lining. I have the same pieces here for the lining. Or you can go and quilt your top like I am going to and stabilize the lining. So I'm going to go do those 2 things, and then we'll meet back up here after I've done all that, okay? The quilting should make it nice and pretty. You could just do some straight lines. You could actually go in between. Just have some fun. Just go. You don't even have to quilt it if you don't want to. But I like it because, you know, for once I'm a quilter, and I want something quilted in my car. So see you in a moment.
Cut, stitch, stitch, line it up tight. Squares on the table, looking so right. Press it flat, let the seams collide. Iron, iron, iron to the dark side. Quilted up, patchwork flow. Colors popping like a fabric rainbow. Hey, every block survive, every stitch has pride. Iron to the dark side.
Okay, we have our pieces here. They're all quilted up and stabilized. These are our lining, and then this is our outside. We have some black elastic. Oops, I did. I had some here. Oops, fell down. So I have lots of black elastic to be able just to make that little handle to go over the headrest of the car. So whether you put it on passenger or driver's side, doesn't really matter. It's nice being able to flexible to take it off and on. So we're just going to build this out. So what I did is I took my lining, and to find the middle, of course I folded it in half, and then I put a pin. For my side piece for my lining, because it's not patched work like the outside, though you could if you wanted to, I again folded it in half to find that one point. So I'm going to take those two, put them together, okay, and then I'm just going to make sure to sew from a 1/4 inch stopping here, okay, 1/4 inch stopping here and going all the way to a 1/4 inch stopping there. So then when I go to line up this side to come bring it up to the top, it's going to be nice and even. Okay, so let's do that. Right, let's do that on both sides. Again, we've got our little point pinned. Right there. I can just pop an extra one in there. So we're good to go. Pin is bent. Okay, all right, so we're just going to sew here and sew there, and then we're going to do the same thing on this piece right here. Okay, so let's do the side there. Do the same thing, but then we're going to line up that little seam. In there, and again stopping a 1/4 inch away on either of those side bits. Okay, so once we get those sorted, we will come back here. Okay, let's get those sewn right here, and right here, and right here. Okay, we have attached our side flaps for our bag on both of them. So what we want to do here at this point is we want to take the sides, line up the top edge. This is the lining part, okay? So line up here at the top part is the first priority. Make sure that's nice and square, okay? And then just come on down, grab another pin, and then just go snug right up here. We can just pop that, because we left that bit of a 1/4 inch right away. We should be able to just snug right down in there perfectly. Okay, grab another pin. And we'll do that on all 4 sides, okay? So we're going to flip it to the other, line it up right up at the top. Okay. Snug on down. You could use an old shower curtain as the liner, especially if you maybe got more like little kids that are going to have more like stickier or drippy snacks for garbage. You could totally do that too, or maybe even spritz it with a bit of wax spray. You know how you put on some canvas tents and stuff like that? You could probably do the same thing. Just to make sure it's easily wipeable. You can just reverse wipe it out, and or it has to be washed or whatever. But you could also like put a like a paper lunch bag in there as well, so things just easily grab and go. Toss it out. Okay. So we're going to do that to the lining as well as the outside of the patchwork, and sew those down, and then we'll come back. Okay, we'll meet back here. So you get your stuff sorted, I'll get my stuff sorted, and then we'll meet right back. Okay, we have our sides all sewn down on our outside and our inside of our little bag. So what we want to do is we want to put the right sides together, but we also want to attach a bit of elastic. Now you can also use fabric to cover this as well, make it like a little scrunchie or something. I mean, that's completely and totally up to you. I think I'm just gonna use just the elastic. I have an 11 inches here, and I thought if we just put it at a pin on where the seams are in this little project here, that should be good enough. So we'll just make sure it gets pinned in there, and that'll definitely be able to flex over across the headrest on either of the chairs, right? Right, and then here, make sure it's nice and even, right? And then when we go to put our lining in, right sides together, we are going to leave a bit of a gap. Actually, I guess we probably should have done on the side of one of these. We'll add a little space on the side of one of the lining pieces to allow us to turn the project right side out, okay? Just make sure we're allowing enough, okay? Okay, that should be okay. All right, should have done that, but whoopsies. Okay, so now we're gonna put the right sides together, okay? And we're gonna line up those seams where we had our side bits, okay? And then we're just gonna sew all the way around, okay? We can split the one with the batting, okay? So it makes it lie a little bit flatter. If you want, you can press that too. If you wanted also to do an extra special touch on the outside, you could pinch these two together and then just do a little sew down there, and it kind of just gives a little, like a little popped out seam. So that's up to you, you know. Experiment, have fun, right? You could have bells and little Velcro and maybe even like little hooks or something like that so they can hook things on. You know, you never know. Never know what you're gonna need. Just pin this here, and then we'll just sew all the way around. And be careful when we're taking right side out that we're not going to stab ourselves with the ones that are holding the elastic, okay? And let's put a pin on either side to make sure we're staying nice and even across. Okay, and then over here, okay, actually let's take these and move them to the outside. Let's line them up. Oop, there we go, good, good. Got the elastic, there we go. And then here, holding it. Hold it steady and repin. Okay, so all the way around, and then we're going to pull out through that little hole right here, okay? All right. I'm going to do a little back stitch. I'm going to kind of come down a little bit thicker than 1/4 of an inch from the top. Get close to the pin as possible before removing it. Try very hard not to sew over your pins. It's not really good for your machine. It could throw your timing off. It could break a needle. And of course, breaking needles, they have little metal bits in it going everywhere. I'm just going to back stitch over that elastic again. So we got at least a 3 fur on there. Forward, back, and forward again. And here it is again. Let's get at least a stitch in the elastic before we take it out. Forward, back, and forward. Always stop with the needle down in your project so you're not going to lose anything as you're like shifting and flipping and flopping like I am right now. Okay, get it close to the needle and pop it out. Just a little back. Now we take it back to the table and we find our little hole. We reach our hand in and we're going to go and grab like one of our little corners here, okay? And then just start to gently pull out. We have something bright and cute and definitely a conversation piece if somebody's sitting in the back. I like it. Our car's name is Snowball, and I think this is very appropriate for her. I do like the tan paisley fabric on the inside. I also thought, you know, if it did get a couple little stains or something, it wouldn't be too horrible, right, sort of thing. Okay, now we just kind of want to fluff everything back out. Poke out our little corners. I really like the patchwork look of this. I love patchwork. You know, that's one of the things that drew me to quilting in the first place, is using up little tiny bits of squares of fabric and turning it into something beautiful. So, okay. And then just pop your corners in. Seal up your gap, but let's poke it out first and let's make sure we're happy with the results. And we've got all the seams You could press it, give this a nice top stitch all the way around. You could also make a little channel and maybe even put a little elastic so it's a little bit of a cinched in sort of garbage. So you know what I mean? It's, you know, the options are really, the only limitation is your imagination. Okay, so. And then that's just going to sit over the headrest of the car, just like that. It's going to be awesome. Awesome. Okay, can't wait to see if you guys make one. Okay, I'm just going to top stitch this and then I'll take some pictures, okay? So, thanks for joining me. Greatly appreciate you. Big hugs to you and yours, and we'll see you on the next one, okay? Make a trash bag for your car.
Cut, cut, stitch, stitch, line it up tight. Squares on the table looking so right. Press it flat, let the seam